Good morning and welcome to Unfiltered and Out There. We're here at the University of South Carolina today to talk with the youth of tomorrow, man. Wilmer, awesome, man.
My brother, how we doing?
My name's Evan Butler.
I'm by God's side, but he's always been by mine. About, well, whatever's on their mind, their dreams, their problems in life, I don't know, their ambitions. We're here today to meet people and talk to them, and I am paying every guest $1 to talk with me. That's right. One of those bad boys. It's worth something for today. Maybe not tomorrow, but stay tuned for all the sweet interactions we're about to have with introverts, extroverts, maybe a squirrel. We'll find out. Well, I'm Matthew.
Hi.
Welcome.
I'm Charlotte.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So what'd you like to talk about?
Well, I heard your discussion with the last person, and you mentioned something about how even though you vote differently than someone, you threw football with them just the other day. So like how different can we really be? Do you think there's a line to that? Like at what point does someone's values and politics affect your ability to be friends with them?
I think it's an individual thing. I mean, you have to you have to make that decision of like, I've always been open-minded. I've never judged anyone. Like, you know, just because I believe a certain thing in life, you know, maybe I believe in God and things, but you know, and this is where it gets real finicky too, is because people forget. Like if we're even going to look at religion real quick to start, and we don't have to get deep about that, but like even God said, he's like, do not judge one another. But he said one thing, he said, the brothers and sisters that believe in me, hold them accountable. But he didn't say go around and slander people that don't believe in him. And that's what's happening nowadays with Christians. They're judging people and they're attacking them. I'm like, he said not to do that. He said, you know, and it's like, my thing is I choose every day to find a way to relate to someone, especially if we're different. I'm like, I gotta find a way to relate with them because I refuse to live with hate. That's the number one thing. I made that choice in my heart and in my life to not live with hate, despite what I believe, and to be open to hearing everyone, you know? And that's my choice I made, and I think it's an internal choice. There's a line if people want there to be a line, but not in my heart, you know? And that's the way I look at it, you know?
I mean, I think that's great, not to hate people. Do you think that...
Anything is free here. You say anything.
Right. Do you think that your friendships reflect who you are? So like if I was friends with a lot of people that had really different opinions, like moral different opinions, don't you think that kind of like bleeds onto you in a way or reflects not poorly of you, but like I personally, I don't think I've limited my friendships a lot based on just growing up, my opinions changing. Do you surround yourself, I guess? Well, obviously you're doing this like unfiltered thing, so you appreciate opinions different than yours, which is great. But how close do you let it get before you're like...
Well, here's an example. All the guys here helping me, I'm pretty sure we all voted differently. Okay? And
should I guess?
You know, and the thing is like I never look at things like that. The thing is like it's you know, I have a small circle of people that I let know the core values of my heart and like things like that. But I close off no friendship, but that doesn't mean I believe in law of association, and I believe in like, you know, there's a great book I read. It was written in 1930s by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Okay. The goal in life is not to give all of yourself to everyone you're around, but to pick and choose who gets that and how often you're going to spend with them. And I agree with what you're saying. I do. Like if you're hanging out with a bunch of people that are just like wearing Trump or Biden hats, of course, like if it's not going to work out well for you. People aren't going to really hear you if you're like, I didn't vote that way. You know, you got to pick and choose how you want to be perceived, because perception is reality to people. I think it's a balance, you know, it's definitely a balance, you know.
Do you consider yourself centrist or like apolitical?
What do you mean by that? Define that for me. So maybe
so you
said
different. You believe in God, right?
Yeah.
Are you Christian?
Yes. I don't go to church though, and I could tell you why if you ask.
We'll get there.
Cool. Continue.
I know a lot of Christians, or just anyone who follows the Bible, there's some verses about like, you know, God is the real king. There are no kings on earth. We shouldn't engage in politics that heavily because in the end it's Jesus that gets us to heaven. It's not Trump or whatever, you know. So do you consider yourself like politically active, or do you let your religion kind of just like take priority over politics?
So I don't like to associate myself with Christians. I like to associate myself with an intimate walk with God, and that's it.
That's Christianity.
Well, no, I know, but the thing is the difference in what I said and what a lot of people do is I'm not out preaching the word. Okay, because
So you're not evangelical?
well, I am, but I'll tell you. So here's the big issue with Christianity. This is why I don't go to church.
The big issue with Christianity. That's the clip. He's
Yeah.
about to tell you right now.
So I've actually been
is
to over 200 different religious organizations, whether that be different versions of Christianity, Protestant, Catholic, Methodist. I've been to the Church of Satan. I've been to cults. I've been to everything just to gain perspective. I've met Buddhist monks. I've done all of it, and not to ever open my mouth, but to just gain perspective. And I'm not. If I'm walking around on a day-to-day basis, and you can't see something inside of who I am enough to cause you to ask why I did that, that's how I'm going to reach you in a word.
So if you conduct your life in a way where you're behaving like Christ, or
I'm a poor example of that, but
well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of the point, right? We're not supposed to be able to do it well, but trying to live your life in a way where someone walks past you and says something different about that guy, he has a contentment, or he's like reached some sort of peace, then that's your form of like evangelizing, is just through showing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I believe, me being someone who has kids, and I believe in deep love. I believe a man should lead with a calm confidence. I mean, the second you're the guy running your mouth trying to get a point across, no one's listening. I believe silence speaks far more than anything when it comes to love, and religion, and any religion is a version of love, meaning it's you love, like it creates love in your heart towards your belief, whether that's Christianity or not. And so the way you want to show strength is in restraint, in my opinion, not in necessarily running your mouth. And I don't try to preach the word. If someone asks me things, I'm like, look, I've not always been by his side, but he's always been by my side. I know that if I'm meant to bring someone to Christ, he's going to open that door, but it's not up to me to force the door open.
Were you raised Christian?
I was, and it was. I wouldn't necessarily say it was. I was raised beyond just with being a Christian. I was raised with, a very strong household in the aspect of it was broken. I watched my mother die at 11 right in front of me, and things like that. No, but that's a strength, and it's something that is. I learned a lot through how men should lead. And toxic masculinity is not it. I don't think feminism is either. I think there's a healthy balance in between.
What do you define as feminism?
Well, I think anytime someone and here's my take on it, is if and it sucks because it's so hard to get this message out because there's. Let me go and add this disclaimer.
Hey, this is unfiltered.
Well, let me add this disclaimer first. No, I don't think you will. First things first, I'm getting mad at men before I ever do it with women. I'm not misogynistic, never will be.
Okay.
I'm going to point the finger at what I am, number one.
First of all, are you making the assumption that I'm feminist
No.
because I'm asking you about it?
No, but I'm answering your question by the fact of, first, I got to wonder, why did feminism begin before I define why I don't agree with it.
Sure.
And that's where I start. Well, clearly, men were a bunch of shitheads at times and did a lot of things and abused women. And they think a religion is, hey, now that I have you caged up, okay, we're good. I can do whatever. You can do whatever. I own you. And I'm like, one, that's not how it works. So we're failing immediately there. Okay. Regardless, women to women, man to man, whatever it is, same concept of, I think love should be chosen, should be two free people. And I think that it becomes divine whenever that is the case. And I think that because there's so much force in things when it came to, especially men, with you look at abuse, you look at rape, you look at all these things, and it's like, you must be held accountable, but you don't get to then try to convince me as a man that what you're doing is masculine. Because you hit the gym, you think you're a man? No, it starts inside. And I understand how all this culture has become, and I have to not ever point the finger at anyone but myself, realign myself, not saying I'm that way, and then I have to preach to the men first, and then pray to God that they actually retain it, and then show it to the women is the goal. That way it's I'm not going to ever change anything with force. It must be something that is. Do you kind of see what I'm saying by that? And a little bit I'm not attacking feminism. I'm attacking toxic masculinity, like the Andrew Tates of the world.
Sure.
You know.
But how do you like what when you say I'm not attacking feminism? What is feminism? Like, what would you even be attacking? Like, what do you view it as?
Well, I mean, we could talk for a while as to
That's a big
what it is and what it could be. But I think at the end of the day, it's not necessarily hatred towards men. I think it's women being misunderstood for a long period of time. I think it's women that have either had or didn't have rights or didn't know they had rights, or whether or not. And a lot of it too. And here's the big thing: is a lot of it was always there, but men were like, I'm not going to let you see it though. Maybe you always had the right to vote or to work or this, that, and another. Well, not always, but like men controlled you not getting access to it.
Yeah, access.
And it's not hate towards men. I think feminism one day could fall in love with a man, but it's like, there's a shit ton of boys out here. I don't see a lot of men walking around. All right, so like that's the problem number one.
Do you think do you find it important for you find it an important value for a boy to become a man? Like on paper, that is like important to you.
Well,
the idea of masculinity, like in a correct way.
Well, I think masculinity. Yeah. I think if a boy wants to be a man, then he must become a man. If he chooses to be whatever he wants to be, then be that, but don't tell me you're a man.
What do you think the difference is? Like, what to you distinguishes being a boy from being a man, or being a girl from being like what?
Well, I can't speak necessarily on behalf of females. I have my fiance does a really good job of explaining it on that behalf. She's from another country where it's way different. She's from Russia, and things like that. But my thing is boys. There's a lot of men with gray hair that look in the mirror and they see a child. Wisdom is not grown through gray hair, experience, or age. It's grown through if you do something in life and you choose not to learn from it and grow from it. It's spiritual warfare within yourself to become a man.
So wisdom is part of becoming a man.
Wisdom and understanding yourself, realigning who you need to be, who you want to be. Even looking at astrology, like what a chart says you are, and then being like, well, crap, I don't act like that. And you're like, what are all the bad habits in my life that I want to change? Who do I want to be, and how do I want to be the best version of who I want to be? A man is someone who wants to actively, daily pursue becoming the version of himself he wants to be.
I want to become the version of myself I want to be every day. Does that make So it's just becoming a well-rounded and wise adult.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be.
I mean, yeah.
Like, do you think the goals are the same for men and women? Because I relate to everything you just said about how I live my life.
I totally agree. Yes, it's but also believe that men should lead with calm confidence, not with force.
Lead women.
Yeah, if
what
you
does
choose
that.
that, meaning like
within a marriage or like just in society.
In marriage. Okay. I'm thinking of marriage. I'm not thinking of. I don't care if like women vote or run for president or anything like that. I'm not talking on things of that nature.
Do you think it's important for people to get married?
No, not unless you're aligned. You're going to ruin your life and their life. You should wait until you're ready to go. If not, then don't fuck around.
Why do you think marriage is important in society?
Well, I think that it's important because you don't have much of a society without, offspring and things like that. But
what if you're married but you don't have children? Is that still important?
No, I think it's personal. Everyone's going to have their own take. I don't think because 20% of the population chooses no kids, we're not going to have kids one day. I think that, it's the value system in which, is in the home. Meaning, if a man decides to marry a woman, then he should want her to be her truest feminine self. How do we do that? Well, we got to take things off of her plate. She shouldn't have to feel the need to, she should want to work to enjoy her passion, but she shouldn't have to feel the need to provide.
So financial, not like dominance, but you know what I mean? Like
no, definitely not dominance.
The man should be financially
in the sense of
responsible,
allowing her to be free, not controlling her. So here's where toxic masculinity takes what I said and like, hey, I pay the bills, so you got to do what I say. No. Right. Like I'm building a kingdom for my queen. I do this so that way you can be the best version of who you want to be in life. Meaning, if you want to. Is she
doing anything to make sure you live the best version of your life?
It's definitely a balance. It's it's. I don't need. So here's another thing: is I don't confide in my woman for being my therapist. Men shouldn't have to do that. All
Well,
right.
there's a difference between using your partner as a therapist versus just like sharing your
Bingo.
inner world with your partner.
But a lot of men do it the other way, and they're weak.
Right.
They should tackle those battles on their own or find someone else, because then that puts an unhealthy pressure on her. Then she's like, I can't fix him, but I feel bad, and it's like it creates this dynamic of almost like I'm the man needing a mom, and that's.
Do you view marriage as being an equal partnership?
I mean,
No, right? Because you think men should.
no, I
carry
do
more
think
of a
it's
financial
equal.
burden or,
I think it's equal, but each side is different. Meaning, the
So
women
not
should be fully equal,
but different.
Different in the aspect of what each part does. So women
So
should,
equal value but different responsibilities.
Yeah,
Okay.
everything is equal. You do exactly. I will never control anything you do, and because I do that, you freely choose me. And I'm trying to give you all the tools you need to be successful in life, not because I expect anything from you, but because I genuinely love you. See what I'm saying?
Do you think society would function better if everyone viewed marriage like this?
Oh, well, that's a tough one, because I don't know if you could ever make society. Forcing society to change is, well, we can see how that's.
Maybe everyone, some new research comes out and way more people become more aware of, you become famous and your word reaches everyone, and some people start living their marriages differently because of how you think they should operate. Like, do you think that would?
That would be beautiful, but I still think even if you get there, if you get up top to, here's the thing is say you climb the mountain and you get up there, it's very hard getting up a mountain. Maybe you're trying to become a better person for your marriage or your friendship or you being a mother or a daughter or whatever it is in life, a teacher, your profession. You climb up this mountain of challenging yourself to grow. Mm-hmm. And then most people are like, hey, I did it. Because it is easier going down the mountain, but most people don't realize what's on the other side of every mountain normally. More mountains. Mm-hmm. Meaning, once you get up there, that doesn't mean stop. That's what happens in marriage. People, they fall in love, they do all this honeymoon phase, all that, and then they just kind of give up, and then divorce becomes catastrophic. You have to keep challenging yourself, learning that person every day, figuring out what makes them happy, like how to help them be, like how to make it a happy life. You don't want to be miserable. You want her to be happy, so you got to keep figuring her out, or him out, or whatever it is, to make sure you're living the happy life you just promised on an altar, or wherever it is, to uphold. So you got to keep trying,
Yeah. Because gender roles are kind of a tired topic. Can I circle back to why you don't go to church?
Yeah.
So why don't you go to church?
Well, because kind of what you said earlier is most people say, well, the Bible said this, and I'm like, well, I read the Bible. It doesn't say that, and it's I never speak on Christian. I never speak
What
on the
denomination of church did you go to when you have gone to church? 'Cause I'm assuming you've been before.
Yeah. I mean, I went to church for years. I mean, I've been to, like I said, every religion. I grew up Southern Baptist,
Okay.
And then I really dabbled all around, and I went to an Anglican church, which is basically Catholicism minus the praying to Mary and thing, and then I went to Catholic school for a while, things like that, and I gained a lot of perspective on. It sucks because if you really just open the Bible and look at it like one of the oldest historical books, and you forget about the church, forget about everything, you're like, wow, all this stuff I heard, maybe he was right, maybe he was wrong. I'm like, it doesn't even say that, and most people preach about the word and what it says. Even people with accreditations on preachers on church, or even guys like Charlie Kirk or whatever, maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, but I need to go and verify it for myself. And then I find out, even altering a few words ticks me off, because I'm like, I want to know the whole word. I want to know, don't blaspheme this and then try to speak on the behalf of all the Christians. And that's why I put myself in my own category of churches. They're all about creating, not all of them, I'm sure there's a lot of great ones out there, I do, and I pray that there are, but there's a lot of them that care more about gaining bodies and money to grow versus actually just reading the word. And one of the most important parts of the word is revelation, and no church will preach from revelation. Why? Because it causes fear in the congregation.
Or they're doing it as a tactic.
But they don't want to tell certain things like that because they know they might have people leaving, you know what I mean? They're like, well, no, we need to tell you the nice stuff, all the nice stuff. I'm like, that's beautiful too, but I want the whole book,
Do you think it's important to be in fellowship with other Christians?
I do, but I try to just, I do, because I still see family members and things like that, and fellowshipping with people that you believe in, yes, it's beautiful, but as soon as it becomes unhealthy and people start to overanalyze everything you're doing and anything you're seeing, then it becomes more, oh, look at what I'm doing. You're not doing that. And I'm like, okay, why don't you ask me what I'm doing before you assume, And that's why it's very unfortunate, but I believe that Christ lives within, me. And like the big thing is like, it's like the sun, I don't believe in the sun, every day the sun rises, and I don't see the world simply because the sun rises, just like Christianity. But through the lens of Christianity, I can see everything else, almost like the sun. And I can see through the false prophets, the false word. I mean, Revelation talks about it. That's why the church won't talk about it, is there's a lot of fake churches, a lot of fake people spreading the word. And it says that will happen. And it's not, I believe if God wants me to bring someone to him, I'm going to talk with them, and then he's going to I'm going to feel the overwhelming urge to then just crack a door, crack a window. But I'm not always going to do it, because I realize sometimes I've converted people by just talking like we're talking, maybe not even religion, and then they call me in a way, they're like, hey, I have a question for you. I'm like, yeah, go for it. And that's how I go about it. I'm not here to push.
Right.
I'm here to answer questions if I can, but I'm never going to say, hey, this is what it says. I'm like, I could show you the Bible, but I can't quote the verse,
Do your opinions and conclusions about truth stem from the Bible?
They stem from, yes.
It sounds like truth matters to you.
Truth does matter. I believe
You're
in being
worried about
honest,
fake churches, or people not doing things the way that might be the most beneficial for their soul. You know? So how do you define truth? I know that's a really heavy topic, but does it come from God?
Well, I define truth in that God gave us free will. Speaking on behalf of my belief. And I believe that we have the option to, you got to think, Adam and Eve, if we're talking about the Bible, those are the first people created. But then you have Cain and Abel. That's when the first real worldly sins began, anger and things like that happened in the first time humans were dishonest. According to the Bible, we're just speaking on that behalf. And I believe all the lessons we learn is we're going to be dishonest at times. We're going to do things, but we have to want to be better. And I follow the 10 Commandments, not necessarily like it's that bold and true. I mean, because if I followed Deuteronomy, I wouldn't have tattoos. But I also believe that I'm a temple of the Lord, and I choose how that message is given out. It's
So when you're looking at, okay, you're sitting here, you're talking to college students. Truth is a very contentious thing to talk about.
Yeah, religion's been the hot topic today, I'll tell you.
That's what combines religion and politics for me, is people are taking what they think to be truth and projecting it on how they think the world should operate.
Well, let me ask you, what do you believe in?
In terms of truth or religion?
Well, religion, yeah.
So I was raised Christian, and really fully believed it for a long time. And then
Are you from South Carolina?
Yes.
Okay.
From upstate. The past 4 years or so, as I've been in college and just living independently, I've just come to different conclusions and sort of had a deconstruction from that. So the way I see the world now is a little more scattered than maybe it used to be. I feel like religion is a very neat category to put things in. Yeah. So the same reason why you might not go to church, because...
Well, you're doing the smart thing. You were raised a certain way, and you now have the choice that most people don't do, unfortunately, is you have to then believe it yourself. You can't just believe what mom and dad tell you. Yeah, they did their part, but now you have to make sure either you believe it or you don't.
Well,
and that's your truth.
I was pretty, when I was living in my parents' house, there was still
I'm getting some water.
You're good. Still a lot of conviction for me to, I really did feel it, that I was Christian or that God was real, and then just sort of didn't become convincing anymore. I just did more research into things, and I just wasn't convinced. And so to me, truth is about what I'm able to be convinced of, looking at the evidence and genuinely coming to conclusions. But it's hard because if you're Christian, or if you follow the Bible or whatever, then your opinions about truth come from an external source, right? But then if you look at someone that says, well, my truth just comes from me, I don't follow religion, I just do what I think is true, then that can be kind of scary too, because then we're shaping a world that's really subjective, and that gets kind of scary, and that's kind of what's happening. So,
well, that's the big difference too, is yes, God seems external, but the way I look at it is it's internal. I believe it's an intimate relationship, and I don't believe that and it is frightening at times because like I have arguments with God. I have questions and things. It's supposed to be the most intimate thing, meaning you're going to show all emotions. You know what I mean, towards that thing. Whether that be comedy, like, oh, it's funny you did that, or like, damn, why?
But like your moral compass.
Yeah.
Would you say that comes from God? Like when I say external, I just mean deriving from a place other than just, well, I'm a human, so I just came pre-built with a moral compass. Like, do you think us? Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Even at a young age, we can distinguish like, okay, murder is bad. Like that's one of the 10 Commandments, right? But do you believe murder is bad because it's one of the 10 Commandments, or because just as humans we come with like factory settings of what truth should be?
So I don't think necessarily people come with the factory settings. I think we all have a conscience, and I think that it's when I think of it, the 10 Commandments are things that are very fear-mongered when it comes to like church and things, but I believe that they are truths, not simply because they're stuck inside of me, but because they resonate with how I view life. Now I think that not all of them are so, like, you got to read them a little. Like the Old Testament is very figurative. The New Testament is very literal, meaning Jesus said in red letters, but the Old Testament is very figurative, meaning it was written by prophets and things, and like a guy had to climb up a mountain and just carve it into a scroll, It's like it was written very figuratively. And I think it's not necessarily entirely that we don't look at it through a very, small scoped lens and be like, hey, I think it's a day-to-day walk. Like I think I have a strong moral compass. It is backed by, God, but it isn't something that I guess that I don't condemn others for not doing it, because I believe in forgiveness. I believe I'm going to break all of them. Well, I'm not going to murder anyone, but like I'm going to break these things throughout life, and that's part of free will and Christianity and the fall of man and all these things. And it gives me humility. I'm like, okay, so I know I'm going to screw up before I do it, and it makes me not so judgmental. It makes me very understanding,
If you're behaving in society the way that you, from those like Christian values, but maybe that manifests. It doesn't really always look Christian. Like maybe you just give a homeless guy $1, right? Or you give a broke college student $1.
Yeah.
Like I could do the same thing and just be like, just because I want to. But if you're doing it from, well, I have like a duty almost as a Christian to behave in a way that is Christ-like. So I'm gonna go about, and not just like doing charity, but I don't know, just being kind to strangers. Like if we behave the same way in society, but derive truth about the world from different places.
I don't do that because of Christianity. I do that because that is my internal feeling, what feels right. So when I see people, I've always.
But you said that your morals come.
Yeah, but then
of
there's
God.
Some things that I just do, and it feels right and it's natural for me. It's like, meaning, am I going to like what is a natural movement for you? Like if someone throws a ball at your face, you're gonna take it or catch it or shoot.
Do you think those instincts come from God?
I believe so, and I'll tell you why I believe so. Because I've always been someone who's, no matter where I'm walking in life, I've always tried to. Each time I learn something new, I like to reach back and teach someone new. But anytime I see someone in need, I try not to be the guy who's cookie cutter, like, oh, you just need $1? I'm like, let me see do you just need to talk to someone? Do you need to, what do you really need?
So, but those instincts that reflex.
To help people. I like to help people, and I love to make people smile.
Just to
because it brings me joy.
Let's call it just being a good human. Like, obviously, what does it mean but just in general.
Yeah, that's rough.
We both might agree, though. I'm not going to purposely hit someone with my car. I don't have evil intentions in the way that I live my life. Like we're both behaving.
I might if they cut me at the grocery store.
All right,
I might.
well maybe we're different.
No, I'm just kidding.
But you say those instincts. Like we might have the same instincts of just being a good person. That very vague term. But if you say your instincts come from God, and I said my instincts come from something else, do you think that's a problem?
No.
Even though we're behaving the same way?
Not at all. I believe everyone has a journey in life, and time will tell them their path. It's not my job to ever force you down your own road. It's my job to, if I'm meant to be a finger post or a stop sign for you along your path, then that's what it's meant to be, but I'm not meant to be anything more. If I'm meant to be the one, maybe I'm meant to spread the word, but 10 years from now, someone's meant to do more with, I believe that it's not, even like the people sitting beside us, it's very forceful. I don't think that's the way to go about it. I think I could get a message across if I really wanted to, but not doing it that way. if I wanted to.
I
And
decided to talk with you and not them, so maybe that says.
Yeah, and it's a big thing
Making
too
assumptions.
because I care about what people are thinking. Because if I don't know what you're thinking, then how could I even begin to tell you what I'm thinking? Like how I'm trying to get a point across, you know? And that's how I look at relationships too. It's like I have to hear and listen and, you know, be a part of it, you know, before I can give you my perspective. I must not be selfish, but selfless, you know, at sometimes, you know. It's, yeah.
To end, do you want to talk about music? Because I heard
Sure.
you guys talking about music, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, I've been playing drums for 23 years of my life, you know. Yeah, I play music. I toured around in a, you know, in a hip hop group and rock and roll bands, all kind of stuff. Well, growing up, I mean, that was like seeing that on TV as a kid, watching like David Lee Roth jump off stage and things like that. I saw something I wanted to be a part of, which is that feeling that people were getting listening to it, and let alone the people that were giving it to them. Like when Eddie Van Halen put a cigarette in his frets and he'd sit up there and just shred, I'm like, where did he come up with that?
So
you know?
the stage presence is what got you.
No, the feeling that was in his head, I saw it in his eyes. I'm like, I want that feeling.
Passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, music, I love music. I mean, I play every genre. I love it. It's very freeing. It's how I express myself, you know, and I enjoy it, you know.
You gonna see Rush on tour?
So I love the drummer. She's awesome.
Yeah.
I saw Rush right before Neil passed. I would love to. I saw Rush, Styx, and REO Speedwagon that last year.
Nice.
I've thought about it, yeah.
Cool.
I won't see Linkin Park, though.
Oh yeah. So
I don't hate them. They should have made a new band name, in my opinion.
right.
You know,
yeah,
it's like
Blink
Blink-182 did that when they broke up. They made Boxcar Racer and Angels and Airwaves and all that, but like, it's not the same. Chester, it's like you just make a new name, and y'all sound great. Seriously, 10 out of 10. It's a new name. Like you can't expect me to go 20 years of like this, and then boom, it's like it's different. And I know that sounds controversial, and I'm like cool seeing Rush without Neil Peart, but it's like just how I see it. I don't know. It's how I look at that.
Do you
She's an awesome singer, though. Kills it.
Oh, I didn't know she was a singer. Oh, for the Linkin
Linkin
Park.
Park,
Oh, yeah,
Linkin
sorry.
Park,
I meant-
She might be better singing like while she's playing like, you know, paradiddles. You know, I
yeah,
don't know.
maybe. You mentioned Stuart Copeland. Do you play traditional like he did, or are you pretty straight?
No, Stuart Copeland's a character, though. Me and him both equally hate Sting.
Yeah, I was gonna
Which
ask
is
your
funny.
opinion about
No,
Sting, too.
they hate Sting. Him and Andy Summers, the guitarist.
Yeah,
Well, they don't hate him, but that's why they kept breaking up, because it's all about Sting. And they're like, dude, come on, like you're such a tool. Like we're just like trying to play music and
Very
like.
opinionated people.
Yeah, not Stuart Copeland though. He's a cool dude. Watch his videos.
Do you know?
He's
Do you know
awesome.
Gizmodrome?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, his independent stuff is super cool too.
Yeah, and I like drummers are normally the last person in the group to get political, whatever. They're just like, okay, we're ready to play. Like, come on, man. Like, you know, it's I enjoy music. It's
Cool.
And I'm definitely the guy who's seen like a bunch of death metal and stuff like that live, and on top of everything, you know.
Cool.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I'm good, man. This was
Thank
cool.
you for your time.
For
I
sure.
appreciate it. Yeah. Have a
Absolutely.
good rest of your day.
You too. Thanks for the dollar.
Awesome. Well, welcome to Unfiltered and Out There. I'm Matthew.
Nice to meet you. I'm Rainey.
Pleasure to meet you. Yeah, so one thing we haven't touched much on today that I've been trying to get some footage of is just what's a $1 wisdom you have for life? Something that you've either learned the hard way or something you've challenged yourself with that has given you some perspective. Like mine is like fail big. But like what's a truth to you that you've learned the hard way in life that has given you some clarity when it comes to just giving you some wisdom?
I think mine would be living life without Jesus.
Okay.
If I'm living life without Jesus, my life is meaningless.
Okay.
He is everything. Actually, we're tabling beside you for a World Harvest, which is our evangelistic, I have to say it slow, otherwise I'll mispronounce it.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Our ministry, our discipleship ministry. I'm the vice president of the group. My name's Rainey, and my president is Logan.
Yeah, we spoke with Logan earlier for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. We're trying to outreach and get as many people as we can to come to Jesus and make them disciples to be able to, go out and help teach people about Jesus and things like that.
So how do you build a disciple? Or do they build themselves because they choose it?
The first step is choosing, obviously.
Yeah. And I believe in God too. I'm just asking. Yeah.
No. First step is choosing, and then I think for me personally, they need mentors. They need help. You can't do your journey alone.
Yeah.
So,
And so, whenever you say, I guess where's your place in all this? Where do you see yourself in 10 years with I guess your organization?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's your big goals?
I know.
Depending you have some. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Big goals for Logan, especially. He wants to, stay in it for a while and be big with it. 10 years down the road, I honestly have no idea where I'll be.
That's cool. What about like next week?
Next week, I'll be tabling. I'll be in my meetings. I'll be in class, doing everything I can.
So you're in school here?
Yes, I am. I'm a sophomore.
What do you study?
I am a public health major. I'm going to go to Charleston after graduation to do occupational therapy.
So, like public health, what is that exactly?
I couldn't tell you.
Fair.
I just switched over this month.
So what's like the dream job outside of, everything you're doing with the organization? Like, what's going to put the bread on the table,
My dream job is nonprofit work.
Okay.
I know I've had this conversation with my parents a lot because I have to be, respectful. They're paying for my college bills and everything.
Certainly.
And I've been talking to them about it and things like that. And they're like, you have to start from the ground up. Do you have time for that? And I'm like, yeah, I have time for that. And they're like, well, it's not going to make as much money as you want it to in the first couple of years. And I'm like, that's fine. So they're kind of fighting me on it a little bit. But, I mean, if that's something I'm called to do, that's something I'm called to do.
Yeah. I mean, what's so when you say nonprofit, do you want it to strictly be within religion or nonprofit? Like, you've got ASPCAs, you've got other organizations, that do things like, is there something outside of, because God gives us all gifts outside of just, preaching the word,
Yeah.
What is it that you feel like, maybe a gift or a passion outside of that you could, deliver the message, but doing something else, in a more subliminal way, to where it's like, is your ideal nonprofit fully religious? Of course it's backed by religion, or is it something else? Like save the whales or hug the trees. I don't know. Like.
No, it's definitely fully religious based. I do not want to involve politics whatsoever.
They'll find a way to creep themselves in there. Unfortunately.
No, strictly religion based. I think more of what I would focus on would be like young adults.
Yeah.
From the range of like maybe 18 to 30. I really think that's where you get the most people to come in and do things like that. Just kind of get a group together to do outreach and things like that. Kind of go around. My favorite kind of thing is to do ocean cleanups, like the beach cleanups and things like that.
Yeah.
So do something like that.
That's cool. Well, don't go to India. You'll be working for a while. You know what I mean? It's No, but that's awesome. That's good to hear. Yeah, I really like that. Well, was there anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, that was it.
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
You.
Yeah, have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Yeah, awesome. We're back. You don't go to school here.
I don't go to school here.
That's cool. Let's talk about why you don't go to school here, man. Or anything else.
No, when I was in high school, I was really set on the idea of joining the military. That didn't go too well. Like, I guess I lost interest in that, and other stuff came up in my life, and I was like, college isn't like something I want to do now.
Well, let me ask you, whenever you tried to join the military and it didn't work out for reasons out of your concern or your ability to control, how did that shape you? I know for a while that had to suck, but I mean, how did it shape you to who you are today? Like what did it do? How did it push you?
Honestly, it sucked, because I come from a military household, so I mean that's all I knew.
Yeah.
And that's all I wanted. When it wasn't going the right direction, you knew it wasn't going the right direction.
Yeah.
And kind of like you see yourself like staring off, and you're just like, but you keep trying. You're kind of hoping that something will turn up. But at the end of it, I think it worked out pretty well.
Let me ask you, what do you plan to do now? Now that that's not an option, because I mean, do you see yourself as a leader? Were you trying to excel in the military and rank up, or were you doing it because it was a, like you said, growing up in a military household, it felt like almost a silent obligation,
Yeah, it kind of felt like that. That's exactly what it was. It felt like an obligation that I had to like fulfill, because that's all I knew. Like all I knew was basically like moving from like place to place.
Yeah.
Not staying in one place for too long. Like honestly, when I stayed at like one place for like so long, it felt weird.
Yeah.
Like it just did not feel right. Like moving every year of my life.
So what's the goal for you now, man? It could even be the next year goal. It doesn't have to be like, hey, the forever goal,
I don't know. I really just want to put my foot somewhere, whether it is going back or trying to get into school, or it's whether with, my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing, man. I mean, purpose is a big thing that we're all looking for, whether it's something that we kind of have, we're grounded in or whatever, and that's why I kind of have my page, the Aligned Wolf. It's about the path to alignment, and you can, it's about fulfilling yourself, but it all starts from inside. Strength starts from inside. Alignment is something you have to go to war with in yourself. Spiritual warfare, emotional warfare, physical warfare, all of it, but it's with yourself, not another person. And you have to first want to change and want it. And I don't believe in fallback plans. I never have. I like to fall forward. At least that way I know I'm going to land. That's cool, man. So I know you like to.
That's a good perspective.
Yeah, I mean that's just the way I look at it. And I know that's rough to say because every kid here's probably got a fallback plan being in college. That's a common thing. Maybe their parents are sending them here or whatever it may be. And they're like, well, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, I've never given myself this is. It's like I've went all the way in. Maybe I'm like only doing it for a year or whatever, but I gave that year that attention.
Yeah.
And it's just who I am. I can't say it's the right philosophy, but it's never failed me because I give my all to whatever I'm putting into.
Yeah.
And it's rewarding in its own way, and that's why I've done a lot of things. I like to do a lot of different things. Yeah, I mean, so I know. Let me ask you this: so you like the outdoors, you like to fish, you like to explore and things like that. Being in South Carolina, it's a very outdoorsy state. But like, where do you like to travel to? Where's your dream destination to hike a mountain to, or whatever it may be?
It's got to be like either like Mount Hood or Mount Rainier.
And where are those
on the West Coast?
Okay.
Washington and Oregon.
Sweet.
I think the West Coast is probably like the best looking part of the United States.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Whenever it comes to that, for sure, man. I mean, it's the East Coast has its hidden gems, but it's I find reverence in the Appalachian Mountains, not for the simple, beauty that you see from it, but the energy I feel from the earth, because I've got a lot of Native American in me, and, my heritage is from those mountains. But I agree, the West Coast carries the beauty, and I look at photos of Washington all the time, man. Seattle's always raining, but that doesn't mean that's all Washington,
Yeah.
Perspective is kind of a big thing. So when's the goal to get on one of those mountains, man?
I'm giving myself like 2 years, because it honestly costs a good amount of money.
Yeah.
To go with the group, all the supplies. So it's really just, setting money aside to like save up for all the equipment I need, renting out stuff, going with the group, because you can't solo it.
Dude,
I think it's gonna be better.
Dude, you could totally solo it, man.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Bear Grylls? Dude, I love those episodes where he's at a waterfall, right? And he's like, all right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna climb up this waterfall, and then he gets up there. First thing is like, you gotta climb up a waterfall. Okay, like let's start there. I'm already dead at the bottom, you know what I mean? And then he gets up there and he's like, I'm gonna eat a bat. And you're like, oh, so he's gonna catch a fucking bat?
Have you seen that one episode?
Like, what?
Where he finds like a dead seal and he cuts it open and makes like a vest out of it to keep warm?
Dude, and I like the guy, man. He's a British Green Beret. It's all real.
Yeah.
He could choose to be like, I grew up loving it, man, but I like that mindset of like, what he does, and he has fun with it, and he likes to teach people like how to kind of survive in these scenarios. It's cool, man. I love exploring and doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But dreams don't work unless you do, man. Have daily goals, weekly goals, And I'll tell you some good books I read that helped me out with a lot of my. I'm very woodsy. I could survive in the woods with very little. But I didn't just know that. I grew up on a farm, a couple 1,000-acre farm, but that didn't do it. It's the knowledge I learned from. Inside, and the bushcrafting books are great. I think it's called I think it's just called Bushcraft 101, and it basically just teaches you like how to kind of do some simple stuff out there, understanding what could happen. Probably will, like Murphy's Law. I can't remember entirely, but like you got to plan for stuff like snake bites, things like that.
Yeah.
You got to understand the wildlife, you know, and how to be prepared for that. You know, mountain lions, whatever it may be.
Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, it's but it's also kind of that thrill, you know. The thrill
Oh,
of it
dude,
all.
like, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that's the best part of it. I think that's why people do it, like Bear Grylls. There's a certain thrill that you can't get off by walking on a campus all day.
Yeah.
Like if you, I mean, it's a whole different view from being at the bottom of the mountain to from the top.
I know this is a movie, but have you ever watched Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
So it's the last movie. It was the Crystal Skull with Shia LaBeouf, and at the end he's like riding the motorcycle through the campus with Shia LaBeouf, and they like slide and fall. And one of the kids is like, "Hey, where's this thing, this ancient artifact, whatever it was?" And he's like, "Hey, if you want to actually live, get out of the book and get out there and look at it, you know." And he's like, you know, the college professor. But he's like, "You got to get out there and apply it, you know."
Yeah. I say this a lot. If you're not learning something new every day, are you really living?
It's a nice day out. It was cold in the morning. Now it's pretty hot.
Yeah, it's like the first spring day.
Yeah,
It's like the first spring day we got around here. I got this one on. Don't worry, I got you covered, man. Yeah, first spring day. Yeah, I got the finger. Button pressed. Check.
Yeah. How do you feel, Matt?
I feel getting a little hangry. I'm gonna punch someone in a minute. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm feeling good. It's a beautiful day. Met a lot of great people. It's been an awesome experience so far. It got religious pretty heavy. That was not the goal, but hey, we're open to talking about whatever. So it's we're gonna split this up into 4 segments. So stay tuned. Week after week, we're gonna bring you some new stuff from the streets of University of South Carolina, and I might even get into a fight with the mascot. I'm looking for him. So.
The only thing on my mind right now is that Chick-fil-A inside that Russell building.
Thought you were about to say that. Thought you were about to say that chick. Filet.
That too. I'm about to get 10-piece chicken nuggets with fries, with frosted lemonade, and maybe a cookie.
Did you say frosted mini wheats in a Chick-fil-A?
Frosted lemonade. Oh, sure, they're coming out, bro. It's time to advertise. Jason, get naked. You're gonna do something, bro. Start dancing.
Blooper reel. We'll put that on afterwards. The behind the scenes blooper
behind
reel.
the scenes. Jason, show us something. Give me like a hidden talent or something.
I can make a water drop noise.
That's me.
Wait.
Wait. Alright, I'm gonna actually show you how to make the water drop noise.
Whistle.
People usually use their hands doing like this, but nah, not me.
Teach us
I'm
how
different.
to do it.
So pretty much you gotta put your tongue. I don't even know. My tongue doesn't. Wait, what the? Alright. I'm not getting my tongue action. Alright. Wait, I can't do it. I'm low-key dehydrated, bruh.
Here. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong one.
Wait, I'm dehydrated. That's why. Wait. Hopefully get a few more people. Get more content. But yeah. Johnny out.